Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return. To obtain something of equal value must be lost. That is alchemy's first law of equivalent exchange. Except if you're in America, or more specific, GameStop. Hello folks, welcome back to Let's Talk Anime. I'm Derangerous, and let's talk about sacrifice for a moment, shall we? I mean, we all sacrifice something on a daily basis. Whether it being time, money, resources, our sanity. Yeah, thanks a lot 2020, but we sacrifice, and we need to sacrifice to grow, to learn, to be better, and to know how to minimize how much we have to sacrifice in order for us to obtain something of equal value, or something that will still give us the value in completing the job that we first laid out. And yes, I'm talking about Fullmetal Alchemist. I'm so hyped up about this episode because Fullmetal Alchemist made a massive impression on the anime community. Okay, let me explain it like this. Remember how I told you on how of an effect Trigun had on the anime community? Okay? Trigun was like a nuclear bomb on the anime community. Fullmetal Alchemist is more like a supernova going off in space, okay? Words cannot express how awesome this series is until today. But to understand Fullmetal Alchemist, we gotta understand the mind of its creator. And who best than to understand the intricate minds and thinkings of the great Hiromu Arakawa. Miss Arakawa hails from the Hokkaido prefecture. Fun fact, Hokkaido is very rural. I mean, there's tons of farm area. It's like Kansas, except possibly not as boring. But while living in Hokkaido, Miss Arakawa was born and raised in a dairy farm. She would grow up milking cows, selling milk, because, you know, dairy shit. As time progressed, she would already show an interest into comics and drawing. I mean, she did what we all did growing up. You get a textbook and you start drawing pictures in it. Fun times. Except I couldn't draw. As time progressed, she would even write a little comic strip for a magazine occasionally. This was just some small time stuff. Right after she graduated, she took oil painting lessons for about 7 years, and this is while she was still working at her family's dairy farm. Eventually, Arakawa decided to bite the bullet and ship herself off and move all the way from the rural land of Hokkaido to the bustling city of Tokyo. It is there she got her job working at Square Enix, as well as being the assistant of one Mr. Hiroyuki Ito, the creator of Mahojin Guru Guru. While working at Square and being the assistant of a mangaka, this allowed Miss Arakawa to really enhance her craft. This was her first job in the manga world. And after all of this time and energy and learning, she created her very first series. It was known as Stray Dog. Believe it or not, her series Stray Dog actually won her the 9th 21st Century Shonen Gangan Award. Kind of a big deal when you're starting off as a manga artist. Since winning that award in 2001, she created her next series, Hagane Renkin Jutsu, also known as The Alchemist of Steel, or as we here in the West call it, Fullmetal Alchemist. After making Fullmetal Alchemist, Miss Arakawa will go on to work on different series. She will work on series such as The Heroic Tales of Arslan, Silver Spoon, and Hero Tales. But enough about those. We're all here for Fullmetal Alchemist, so let's dive in to the history behind Fullmetal Alchemist. When creating Fullmetal Alchemist, Arakawa was heavily drawn to the idea of the Philosopher's Stone. That and also alchemy, which was some really, really cool shit back then. And then she would read more books about it, and more books. And then she realized this shit was confusing as hell. And then she would read more books. And then she realized she was still confused. But it didn't just stop there. Arakawa decided to incorporate a whole bunch of other things into the series. She incorporated the Ainu people of Hokkaido, which, if you don't know, were the original natives of Hokkaido until they had their land taken away. She incorporated other things, such as the results of war, how orphans should be treated, and the concept of equivalent exchange, which believes that you only get back depending on how much effort did you put into it. It's kind of like for every action, there is an equal yet opposite reaction, except when you go to GameStop. Fullmetal Alchemist is different because it's kind of split. What I mean to say is, when they were working on the series, it wasn't 100% completed in the manga. So Arakawa told the studio working on it, just have fun with it. You make up what you believe will happen at the end of that series. That's the non-canon version. The official canon of the series is within the second series, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. So when you watch the 2003 anime of Fullmetal Alchemist, it will have an extremely different ending compared to the manga and compared to Brotherhood. Although one could say that the endings between the manga and Brotherhood, even though are both canon, they both have some minor details that makes them very unique, as well as in how they are presented. But enough of all that hoo-ha! Let's talk about the characters of Hagane Renkin Metal. Our first character, or characters, in Fullmetal Alchemist are the Elric Brothers. Let's start off with the oldest brother, shall we? Edward Elric. Ed is a caring older brother. He's a genius alchemist. He is very smart. He's sharp as a whip. But, oh my God, this kid has anger problems. I mean, you see, Ed's main pet peeve is when someone points out his height. Because he kinda, what's the easy way of saying this? Fucked up his body. He is short. And if anyone points out he is short, he explodes with anger. He can decipher codes. He can understand almost every last single aspect of composition when it comes to life. But oh my God, if anyone says, "Hey, you're kind of short," he just goes, "Everybody dies!" So a key little detail about Ed, little, is Ed's body. You see, because of a certain little accident that him and his brother do, Ed doesn't have an arm or a leg. So to fix that, he gets, get ready for this, automail. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like what? Automatic chainmail, because, you know, mail and metal and medieval shit. But no, automail is a very advanced set of mechanical prosthesis. I mean, it's more advanced than what we have here. Automail can do things such as, really, anything that your original limb could do. I mean, you need to play video games? You can do it with automail. Need to write something? You can do it with automail. Only problem, it requires 3 years of rehabilitation to get used to said limb, and also the surgery hurts. When it comes to alchemy, Ed is a total fucking genius, okay? Most alchemists have to sit there and draw an array with a bunch of different symbols and then activate said array to begin the alchemic process. Ed basically can just clap his hands together and then touch stuff, and then it does cool shit, okay? Next up, we've got Ed's younger brother, Alphonse. Al is one of the most sweetest characters in all of anime. I mean, he's very sweet, he's very caring, and he likes to carry around little kitty cats in a suit of armor. But the main difference between Ed and Al is Ed is slightly smarter than Al, while Al is actually more social than Ed. The reason why Al is in a suit of armor is that's all that's left of his body. Al had an original body, but due to some stupid shit that him and his older brother did, yeah, Al's soul is within a suit of armor. And plus side, he doesn't age. Downside, he can't eat, sleep, or feel anything. I should also remind everybody, Al has been stuck in a suit of armor since he was either 9 or 10 years old. Our next group of characters are the military. You see, I should mention that in the world of Fullmetal Alchemist, alchemy can be used to help everybody's lives. You can use it to treat medicine. You can use it to help grow crops. You can even use it to help build buildings. It is very flexible and versatile. However, just like the United States, we can also weaponize it in that world. And thus, you've got the military. The military tends to weaponize the alchemists by hiring them as state alchemists. To take matters even further, these state alchemists also have a second name. Edward Elric's second name is Fullmetal, aka the Fullmetal Alchemist. Our next alchemist and our first member of the military is none other than Colonel Roy Mustang. Colonel Roy Mustang is known as the Flame Alchemist because, let's just say, between you and me, he can burst people into flames in a snap. But he is a man with goals. He wishes to be Führer, not the Hitler kind. But as Führer, his number one goal in life is to make sure to make the land even better and institute that all women must wear tiny mini skirts. It doesn't actually happen. While we're on the pathway of state alchemists, let's talk about Major Alex Louis Armstrong, the strong-armed alchemist. Major Armstrong is by far one of the most manliest men who ever came to man, okay? The man is so man that man. Okay, in English, the guy is very, very manly. He will cry tears of joy if he feels happiness. He has a thick handlebar mustache and he sparkles by his eyes. Also, every so often when he really gets passionate, he will just strip off his shirt and start flexing. You see, the reason why he does this is it is all tied to his style of alchemy. Strong arm alchemy. What happens is he strips off his shirt and then flexes his muscles and punches stuff with these special gauntlets and then causes unique alchemic creations. Seriously, it's kind of actually badass. Our last member of the military to talk about is none other than the one, the only, the greatest dad in all of anime, Lieutenant Colonel Maze Hughes. Hughes mainly works in investigations with the military, okay? He is the world's greatest dad. He will sit there and he will just show off pictures of his wife and his daughter and call up Roy Mustang and waste military funding just to show off more pictures of his daughter. Fullmetal Alchemist has a shit ton of characters, and I mean a shit ton of characters, that I got a good feeling my producer would get pissed off constantly having to add in and work on edits for each character. So I'm gonna keep this short and just tell you about the others. And trust me, there are a lot, and I'm not even talking about the differences between the original series and Brotherhood. First you got Scar. Scar's a very conflicted man, and he is, let's just say, very close to his brother. Next up, you've got Winry Rockbell. Miss Rockbell is Ed's personal auto mill mechanic, and she's very tomboyish. Yeah, that's about it with her. Love her though. Next up, you got the main villains. It depends on which series are we talking about, because if we're talking about the original series, the main villains are the 7 Deadly Sins and Dante. While in Brotherhood, you also have the 7 Deadly Sins and Father. It's kind of unique on how they both have different villains, and how in the original series, the main villain is a man, while in the 2003 anime series, the main villain is actually a woman. But both sides have the 7 Deadly Sins. Oh, and who can forget the other dad of the series, Hohenheim. This man. And last character I have to mention, Olivier Mira Armstrong. Why is she important? It's simple. World's greatest waifu. And come on, she's also a strong woman. And how can you say no to her? Look at her. She literally lives up in the frigid mountains on a fort, riding a tank, swinging around a sword, and makes her own younger brother, Alex, who is way bigger and can do more than her, scared. I love that woman so much. Last episode, I said that this series deals with parallel universes. When the 2003 version of Fullmetal Alchemist was made, the creators literally had no clue how the series was going to go, because they were primarily going off of the manga. So as a result, they decided to just have fun with it and decide to, incorporate new characters, as well as create a whole different plot, which also changed the meaning on how certain things are done, and even created some new kind of loopholes occasionally. In fact, they actually ignored some of the rules that were already stated. But Arakawa felt that this series was really great. And before I even go any further, it had even more parallel universes. Okay, so now we've got multiple parallel universes. Then, after that series was done, people were sitting there going, but it wasn't fulfilling, okay? It was a great series. It left a great impact on the anime world, but it was not the ending that we wanted. So thus we then get a movie known as The Conqueror of Shambhala, which The Conqueror of Shambhala actually ties in to the series as it takes place right after the series, but then it also raises some more questions because then there are But due to the popularity of the series, we decided to get an official anime that actually ties in with the manga, thus being Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood adapts what happens in the manga down to the end, but beforehand they kind of do a little bit of a recap of some of the things that kind of happened in the 2003 anime by only spending about 1 or 2 episodes at max on certain arcs and scenes. But then at some point in the series, that's where things really get freaky, and then they actually start incorporating things that you sit there and wonder, why didn't you incorporate this in the previous series? And then it starts getting all crazy, and then more parallel universes, but it's not actually a parallel universe, it's actually the main universe, and then you actually do go into a parallel universe, and then, But regardless of which route you take with Fullmetal Alchemist, this series is still fucking fire, okay? Arakawa is still very proud of this series. You will go to different anime conventions and you will still see somebody cosplaying someone from a Fullmetal Alchemist. This is one series that you cannot afford to pass up. I mean, like I said, there's so many ways to watch it, and there are so many ways to play it, as in the video games. Spoiler alert, the first PS2 game was the best. That was a very fun, alchemically focused episode of Let's Talk Anime. As usual, I am your host, The Rangeress. If you like this episode, do me a favor and like, comment, subscribe, and if you're on YouTube, hit the bell icon. That way you get notifications for when we upload new episodes. And follow us on TikTok and you can see me do some random anime-inspired shit. And tune in next time where I am going to be celebrating Christmas? Anywho, peace out. Oh, where are my manners? There were also 2 other characters I forgot to mention in Fullmetal Alchemist. Meet Nina Tucker and her dog, Alexander. They're really close, and I mean really, really close. As Hiroyuki Eto's, while working at Square Enix, while working at Square Enix and serving as Mr. Hiroyuki Eto, while working at Square Enix and serving as Mr. Why am I struggling? While working at Square Enix, and this thing is